Hello everyone, this is Ronnie just coming to you today with a video. Now, we're going to talk about my top 15 brands I like to sell in suits and sport coats. And at the end, we're going to go through some tips um, to also help you. Things to look for in suits and sport jackets, sport coats, blazers, whatever you want to call them. And we're going to talk about it for a little bit. This is a topic we get a lot, and a lot of this will depend on what price point you want to get into. Because I'll speak on what I have to pay, so I have to be based on what I pay for a jacket or a suit is basically what I can get out of it and what I need to get out of it. But if you're getting into stuff at $2, $3, $4, kind of this changes a lot of what you can get. But anyway, get into it. We normally pay between $7 and $10 for a jacket, sometimes less, but on average, it's between $7 and $10 for a jacket. For a suit, we're paying usually between 10 and 20. Sometimes Goodwills are 15. Salvation Armies can be as low as $7, $8, or up to 20, and Savers are crazy, crazy town. I went in there the other day and I seen an older Zegna suit and it had a bunch of holes in it and they were asking $99. Like, who did the pricing on that one? Smoking something. But anyway, we're not here for that kind of talk. So, number one brand I come across is not really a brand, but it's a bunch of different brands that fall under umbrella, and it's Savile Row. It's a bespoke, which is made to order suit um, company or clothing companies in general in England. So I'm assuming a street or an area of town. I've never been there. Um, we are planning to go to England probably within the next year or so. My wife kind of doesn't know it, but I want to take her there hopefully for next year's birthday, which is May, which is eh. We have a friend there, and I'm gonna work some stuff out with her best friend, basically. But anyway, there's certain brands. If you want to look it up, there's probably 12 or 13 brands on there. I've only come across three of them or four of them off the top of my head. But these brands do very well if you do come across them. One of them is Anderson and Shepherd. I've done really well with this brand. I found suits by this brand, four different suits by this brand. I've sold three of them. I have one currently listed. Sometimes they take a little longer with these ones because these are made to order. They're made for a specific person. These suits in general will run anywhere from probably $4,000, $5,000 for a starter suit to 10, maybe even upwards of $20,000, depending on the fabric that's made. These are all handmade. Henry Poole is another great brand. I found one actually suit jacket from this brand, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in this video. And it sold for decent money from what I picked it up at. And another one is Huntsman and Son is another brand, good brand. Even though I've had a 100% cashmere blazer by them listed for a little while, still the return on these investments should pay off very well when they do sell. Like I said, somewhat they're a little bit slower selling items because it's more of a niche market within. But if you go to eBay, look around, there's not really many of these on eBay either. You're talking about Anderson Shepherd, there's maybe 50 suits on eBay or 50 items made by this brand in particular. And Henry Poole is kind of the same thing. Like if you guys remembered, I found 9 Henry Poole men's dress shirts, and they were selling between, I think we were selling between 75 and as high as $115 for a men's dress shirt. So you can see suits and sport coats should sell a lot better. But that's brand number one, is kind of umbrella brand of a bunch of different brands that fall under Celibate Row. And not to be confused with the Celibate Row that's a totally different brand that's sold at like Macy's and stuff like that, that's trash. You kind of want to stay away from that one. That's just a brand that's kind of using a name to, but look for made in England. All those should be made in England. Number two brand, and I can only say I'm only going to talk about brands that I've found is Kiton, Kiton, really expensive menswear. Now I found this brand in shirts, several times, a tie even, but for whatever reason, I've only found one suit. I found it in New Ham. No, yeah, I found it in New Hampshire, and it's sold fairly quickly. It's a really high-end menswear. I've only come across one, but I know they're out there. 6 years, one suit. Hey, I did find it. I did find a suit jacket by this brand. Once again, every once in a while, I will pick up a suit jacket. It's kind of a fashion no-no. Suit jackets are really hard to sell and go for low money for the most part. I was able to move it. I actually sold it for a decent price, but it did sit a long time. And every once in a while, I will pick up a suit jacket, but it has to be in a brand that is kind of high and above the standard. It has to be really good, something I can't pass up on. So that brand is Chiton, made in Italy. Great suits. I mean, once again, you're looking at probably a $5,000 suit plus. Number three brand I love to sell. This is a brand that has a huge following. Is Brooks Brothers, and there's many different levels you can get into this brand because you have your regular Brooks Brothers, you find your vintage Brooks Brothers. We're talking about suits and sport coats. We're not talking about anything else, so don't get it confused. Now, the sport coats, I kind of pick and choose what I want to buy out of them. But when it comes to Brooks Brothers, they also have the 818 line, which then they have different cuts of jackets. You'll see Milano, Fitzpatrick. You'll see what's the other one? Milano, Madison. They're the cut of the jacket, and 818 is the line. So you do find those from time to time. They'll say 818 on them. A lot of people see 818. They'll put 818 on other items too. You kind of get the difference. Look up some of the jackets and suits, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Um, but that's a little bit higher of a line. Then you go to the Golden Fleece, which is their made-to-order line. Really good stuff. And then you got a step above, which this line is now since been discontinued, but it has a huge following, is their Black Fleece line, which was also made in connection with Dom Browning, another great another great brand, but I've never found a suit by them. But if you could find Brooks Brothers, Black Fleece line, 818 line, the Golden Fleece, very good. Their vintage suits have a good following. People love them. Anytime I've ever found a Brooks Brothers that is a large item, I'm talking like 50 or above size sport coat or a suit, I've sold extremely well. Very hard to come by. You don't see Brooks Brothers stuff in the larger sizes too often. And when you do, you can command a better price. But something to look out for. Like I said, I pass on some of it, especially with the sport coats, but it is good. It is out there, but you pick out the unique and the different and the higher end stuff, you will do well. Number four is another brand. Same thing as Brooks Brothers, Ralph Lauren. Love Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren sells very well. Suits and sport coats, I stay away from the Ralph Lauren. I stay away from that brand. It's not even made technically by Ralph Lauren. It's licensed out. They use the name, and you see it. I really stay away from it for a lot. Oh, let's say something like Newer Tags or something across those lines. But now when we get into suit jackets and sport coats, the Polo by Ralph Lauren line is very good. You have the old vintage stuff made in USA, but then you have the stuff made in Italy. which is made in connection with Corneliani, I believe. I might be saying that wrong. You'll see it's made in Italy. Um, you know, really good high end stuff. And then you have the other Ralph Lauren labels that do well. The Double R Ralph Lauren, which is kind of like their Western style line. Every once in a while, I'll find a sport coat by them, or was it black? The Ralph Lauren Black Label, Ralph Lauren Purple Label. You're getting into more higher quality stuff. Some of them jackets are made by St. Andrews, which is a really great suit maker, and it's just really nice, high quality stuff to find. Um, but you do come across a lot of the bottom Ralph Lauren stuff, which there's a lot of it out there, and I kind of stay away from it, or unless it's a bigger size. Also, and when I talk about bigger size, I'm talking about bigger than a size 48. So when you get into those larger sizes, there's not as much competition, and people tend not to be as picky because there's less competition when you get into those sizes. Number 5, Brioni. I love Brioni. I don't come across Brioni as hugely as much as I wish I did. I mean, over 6 years, we're talking about maybe two suits that I've gotten, like, close to $200 for, but it had a big hole in it, and I did sell another suit for, like, 500. And I found multiple sport coats. I think if you look in our eBay store now, I think we have, like, 4 or 5 uh, Brioni stuff. Brioni seems to be a little slower selling item in general. You look on eBay, you look at the solds, you look at the completed. It doesn't sell as highly as quickly as you expect it to be, and it doesn't quite go for as much money as you think it should be. When you're looking at jackets that sell between $3,000 and $5,000, and suits that probably start at 4 and go to, or start at 335 for a low end Brioni and go all the way. I've seen suits sell for 20,000 because of different materials that are made. We found a suit jacket made by this brand once, and it was 250 wool. And the wool, they'll have like super wool, and it's just a thread count, I believe. I could be wrong on that one, but it was 250. Once you get over like 120, 150, you'll see it sometimes. It's very high. It's more high quality wool, and we found 250, which is, I guess, really rare. I didn't know at the time. This is early in my reselling career. I put that thing on auction. We did actually do very well. We kind of got like $300 or $400 for a suit jacket, but it was because of the reason and of being a 250 wool. Somebody wanted it and willing to pay for it, and that's it. But for the most part, mm, Brioni's a good brand. I enjoy picking it up. I enjoy finding it, but it is a little slower selling for the name. You think of Brioni, you think of, wow, that's nice, but sells a lot on the slower side. Will I pick it? I'll pick up anything Brioni. But don't be confused with Blanco Brioni. That's a totally separate brand, which is trash. And a lot of people I've seen pick it up, show videos to me of it, and they're asking for the difference, and it's not even related in any way. It's just one of those copycat things. Number 6 brand I like to pick up in suits and sport coats. This is going to surprise you. I think this name, Peter Millar. I've picked up a bunch of Peter Millar. Well, not a bunch. I picked up a few here and there. They sell extremely fast. I found suits and I found some sport coats. They always sell fast when I find them. Um, Kind of harder to find because you're not going to find that many out there, I think. I've not found that many out there, but it's one of those brands. Be on the lookout for in suits and sport coats. They do sell, mostly known for their golf wear, but hey, it does have a following. Number 7 is our old friend Canali. Like Canali. It's actually, a brand that I come across. If a higher end brand, it's a brand we come across probably the most regularly, for whatever reason. But they're kind of more of an older style suit. A lot of times they're 3-button fronts. If you notice, they have shoulder pads, as a lot of companies gotten away from shoulder pads. They're more of that older style suit. People still like Canali because there's people, of course, this is probably the over 35 crowd, I would say. They've had Canali before, they still want to rock out with Canali. But the thing is, there's a lot of suit. Yeah, I find a lot of suit jackets, no pants. That's what we're talking about. And I leave them behind because they just don't sell. 3-button front, they're just not the greatest. I have to leave them behind here and there. Suit jackets we're talking about. If it's a two-piece suit, for the most part, I pick it up. There's basically 3 different lines with Canali. There's the pasta, pasta, paposta, something like that. You'll see it says Canali and it says that word under it. Starts with a P, 10 letters probably. It's kind of that more lower line. I've had trouble selling that line in the past. I'm not sure why. I don't think they still do that line. Then there's the regular Canali line. Then there's kind of their more newer style line, which is the Canali 1934 line. And they're more slimmer fitting, I believe, more, slimmer lapels, more modern style suits and sport coats. And I believe there might be another line which is kind of higher end to it. I can't think off the top of my head. But Canali is a good brand to pick up. But I pick and choose the suits I pick up all day. The the sport coats and blazers, you have to pick and choose what you pick up by this brand because if you pick up a suit jacket, it will sit forever. I've had some sit forever. I've even tried to auction them off at $4.99 and they ain't selling. Like, what do I do? But hey, number 8 brand to pick up. See if we can do 8. Like the count over here. Suit Supply. This is a newer brand. I believe they've only been out since like 2009, 2010. They make suits, high-end quality suits, affordable suits for someone that wants a really great suit. They're in that probably $5 to $1,000 range new, but they're resale because you don't find a lot of them out there. Their resale kind of stays pretty high still. I've found it was weird. I found over like a 2-week period, I forgot exactly what it was, like 4 or 5 suits and 2 sport coats, and they sold quick. They sold within a month's time for the most part. Some of them within weeks, and it was just a great brand. It's a great brand. I love to pick it up. If I find it, I get it, hands down. Um, Good brand. And it's more, I think, towards the newer. I think the people buying this are that like out of college to like 35-ish range. They're trying to get their feet wet in the business world or looking nice, and that's a starter suits, I think, to get them off. Hey, I'm just saying. And number 9 brands are kind of that same thing. People stepping out of college, getting jobs, and they're looking for jackets and stuff that look sharp. Number 9, there's 2 kind of brands because they're mall brands, believe it or not. J. Crew and Banana Republic. I put these 2 together because hey, they're to me very similar when it comes to sport coats and suits. I do very well with J. Crew and Banana Republic. Once again, you will come across a lot of like oddball suit jackets, and I kind of stay away from them because they don't sell that well for me. But if you could find J. Crew with moon tweed, does extremely well. Look up the comps on eBay. You will be surprised what a J. Crew jacket can sell for. Um, Another thing like seersucker design, which is just a blue and white striped jacket for the most part. Cotton, it's textured. They do well. They do well by most brands. Um, J. Crew, you find it different suits. I love finding J. Crew. Same thing with Banana Republic. And then both of those with the inner tags, and I'm talking about the tags down on the hem, you could actually get the seasons of how old these jackets are. More recent, the better. But I've done even better, even good with older style ones. And they're just really nice jackets and suits that people can afford. And I think there's a name recognition with those, J. Crew, Banana Republic, even though these brands are kind of slowing their role in the world of mall businesses. You see I mean, malls are closing everywhere. These stores are closing as they restructure, but the brands still remain very fruitful in reselling. Number 10, and I have a love-hate relationship with this brand at number 10, is Mr. Joseph A. Bank. Sport coats, unless there's something specifically special about them, like a larger size, I'll pick them up. Or if it's like a tweed material, I'll pick them up. But sport jackets from them, I stay away from for the most part, unless it's other those reasons. The suits, if I can find them cheap enough, I pick them up. They're very, they do kind of well for us when I do pick them up. The suits, we just sold one the other day, pretty good. I think we got $90 for it plus shipping. You'll see it in our video coming up in a few days. But anyway, Joseph A. Bank, it's a very abundant brand. I would not pay big money for any of these. Problem is for us, whatever reason, our Goodwills charge $25 for these suits. I'm not paying that price. And also, our savers are ridiculous. Our savers thinks they're like the highest end brand too. I mean, if I could get into them on half off days, I would probably buy them because you're not going to get huge money for them, but they have a following of people that follow this brand, and it's not a overly you know um bad brand. It's just one of those brands that are out there. There's a lot of, so when you do go on eBay, you know you got to pick and choose what you pick up from that brand. You have to be smart with your choices. But they do sell. There is a market for it, and it's a brand like Ralph Lauren and Brooks Brothers. You're gonna come across a lot of them. You kind of pick and choose what you pick up from that brand. Number 11 is a brand probably not people even know about or talk about, is J Press. I like this brand. This is a brand I come across, I see it, and for me, I do well with this brand. I found a three-piece tweed um, jacket. I mean, with the vest, the suit, did very well. I got like over $350 for it. It was really nice. You don't come across it very often. I just came across a piece of it the other day, a really nice one. I'll show you in a haul video maybe tomorrow, but for the most part, I don't come across it all that well. I kind of pick and choose what I do find with this brand because you do find a lot of older stuff from it, and I kind of pick and choose what I pick up. But it's a good brand that sells, has a following. It's kind of that more older people following, I want to say. And then I'm talking about older. I'm talking about just 35 older. I know I'm 30. I'm older than 35, so don't get it twisted. But I kind of, think of that people that they're kind of like along the line. They kind of make jackets similar to Brooks Brothers, especially their vintage stuff. Number 12 is one of my favorite brands, Luciano Barbera. They make suits, and every time I find suits and sport coats by this one, they sell fairly quickly and fairly well. So I'll pick them up. I like the brand, but it's a brand I don't come across all that well. Um, Made out of Italy, it's out there. We made a video on this brand a few years back when we were doing our brands videos, and I enjoy this brand if I find it and it's good money. Number 13 brand I like to resell is Oxford Clothes. Oxford, it's an American suit maker, handmade. They're very high quality suit. The thing is, you'll do find a lot of often suit jackets by this brand that I kind of stay away from. You kind of got to pick and choose. but it is good. It does sell. It does have a following. It's probably one of the top American suit makers out there, and it's good stuff. It's Oxford. OXXFORD. Two X's. Number 14, brand. Orvis. I do come across some Orvis here and there. I love Orvis. Every time I get Orvis in a men's uh, blazer brand or so on and so forth, it does sell well. We just picked up a few pieces the other day, and they're different, and they sell. It's one of those brands. I don't think they make suits. I could be wrong. I've never come across a suit before, but they do have sport jackets, and it's a brand that's only sold at a few stores in America, or it's mainly known for its mail order catalogs. So coming across their stuff is kind of harder for most people to buy. We're talking about. So there is a, especially when it comes into the sport coats, because I don't think they make suits. So it's harder to come by. You can command a little bit better a price because there's not a huge amount of stuff out there. Number 5 is Samuel Son, I think it's called. SAMUELSOHN. I come across this brand. They have some older stuff, some newer stuff, and you look at the tags, and you can kind of just understand which ones are newer, which ones are older. But it's a good brand. I've sold it before. I've covered it before. We've talked about it before in our sales videos, and it's out there. Do come across it. I come across it. It sells for me very well, and that's what I'm talking about. These brands sell well for me. These are brands I look for when I go out. There's a few other brands, but we had to really keep this to 15 today, um, because we'd be going well over. Now, there's other brands and other stuff I look for, and it just depends on the jacket. Now, here's some tips to look for. Look for bigger sizes. Anything bigger than a 50 is worth looking up anyway to see what it sells for. A lot of different brands. I've bought bespoke that was just made to order stuff, no names, and sold very well. I think it's how you market the item. Once you get more familiar with the item, you'll see high quality. You'll say, hey, you know what? Somebody had this made. Somebody will want this on the end. Um, odd sizes are hard to sell. And what I mean by odd sizes, certain brands like Brooks Brothers, like let me see here. Uh, I don't. I older Ralph Lauren stuff. They'll have sizes like 39, 41, 43, 45. I've seen 47, and they're kind of nobody. It's a very smaller market of people that look for those jackets and suits. As most people are going to look, most people keep it to even ones like 52, 50. 55. You know what I mean? Or not 55. That's odd. So odd sizes are a little slower selling. They're harder to move. I still pick them up. Let's face it. But I do notice when I list stuff that those tend to sit a lot longer time. Certain brands make that stuff, not all of them. So if you're doing the measurements on a jacket and you come up with an odd size, it's better to go just put it at an even size because you'll get more availability to it. Now, certain materials you'll see jacket and it becomes more heightened or a suit. Linen, very good selling material. Cashmere, camel hair. That was an odd noise outside. Silk. But I don't like silk for whatever reason, unless it's mixed with something. If you ever seen a raw silk jacket, to me it seems very 80ish. It's like, ooh, what is this? But that's my personal taste, I guess. But I'm not much of a suit person. I mean, I wore a suit a few times to court back in the day. Mm. But I'm not much of a suit person unless I have to wear it for a specific reason. But anytime you find those, especially in two-piece suits, like if you find a 100% cashmere suit, you're doing pretty well. Those not too many of those around there. Linen two-piece suits I do very well with. People like those, especially in the summertime. You might not sell them in the wintertime, but people enjoy linen suits. Lighter, people in warmer weather, people look for those. And I'll go outside of brands to lesser known brands or lesser quality brands if I can find those materials in things because it's a selling point. The brand might not be there, but the material is. Like we talked about, bigger, tall stuff sells. Anything over 50 is good. Three-piece suits do very well. It's a premium. When you get a three-piece suit, it's a premium, especially if you could find it with a good name. You find a Brioni three-piece suit. You find a Canali three-piece suit. There's a premium put onto that item, a big premium. Usually 50% premium is what I've sold stuff for in the past versus not. And we're talking about a vest. Harris tweed is another material people look out for. Now, I really don't pick up just every Harris tweed thing. I know some people will. I don't. Like I said, our sport coat prices are way too high. And I've never had too much luck just selling a regular Harris tweed jacket with no specific brand behind it. Now, maybe if I found it with Brooks Brothers or Orvis or Ralph Lauren, it sells better for me. But if I find it just Joe Smo with Harris Tweed, is the material. Nah, not that great for me. And I can just speak on my thing. And another thing too is Loro Piana fabric versus the brand. And you know what? Maybe we could look that up. But Loro Piana fabric, you'll find that in a lot of items. Sometimes in even just run of the mill, clothing in general, you'll see it, and it's not really that great. It depends on what the brand is because I've had trouble selling this stuff in the past. It just depends on the brand that's associated with. But you see it out there from time to time, and it's not really. It just depends, like I've said. But I'm gonna show you the tags and then show you just a little thing so we can chat about it for a minute. But it's one of those things you could find it in many different forms, but and it's also a lot of brands. I've noticed this before too. A lot of brands have just added this to their will add this to clothing, which I don't really think is. You'll see a lot of stuff out of like Hong Kong and stuff like that, and sometimes I'll question if that material is really Loro Piana or not. But it's just a brief difference of the two tags. Right here, you see this is the fabric made in Italy by Loro Piana. They usually have this for brands, nothing in particular. You'll see this a lot with Brooks Brothers, uh, Joseph, or whatever, Daniel Camardi or whatever it is. You'll see this with a lot of different brands, Jack Victor. And Jack Victor, there's another great, pretty deep. That's a bonus of the week right there. Jack Victor suits. Look them up. They actually sell fairly well for me anyway. They sell. But that's the fabric tag. This is the Loro Piana tag itself. You see right there the difference. Loro Piana, made in Italy. None of that. You see the other one. It says fabric made in Italy by Loro Piana. So difference in the wording. That's what it's all about. Understand what you're selling. market it as such. You'll see that like a lot of Nordstrom or Neiman Market stuff will have the Laura Piana fabric. Um, but that's it. I hope this helps some people out there. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. And if you want to see more videos like this, let me know. I'll come up with some. And see you guys later. Have a good day.